Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Payne and welcome to another anime review video. And in today's video, unlike all the other reviews I've done, this one I have been waiting to talk about for a while. And I don't really say that much to shows like this. But ever since I saw this show, I knew it was going to be a show worth watching. Worth watching again? Wow, okay. Nice job, Payne. Ever since I saw this show, I knew that it would be a show that would be perfect to talk about, to delve into, and to analyze and to really talk about exactly what the hell is happening, which, considering this is a slice of life show, is really saying something. For people who don't know, slice of life, or if a show is a slice of life anime, it basically means that there is no plot, and that the show, their strengths is basically on the comedy, the characters, and basically everything but the plot, because in some cases there's barely any. But what makes this interesting is that I've heard people say that this show is the best slice of life anime ever made, one of the best ever made, which is definitely what I need right now. This is I've had a pretty good last few videos, but it's that, and I haven't really seen that much videos of people talking about it, so I thought, what the hell, just take a crack at it. So, without wasting any more time, let's dive right into the crazy, funny, and in some cases disturbing Lucky Star. I found this show after I finished watching one of my favorite shows of all time, right now, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, link to my review on that down below, and I would look up more clips of Suzumiya on YouTube, and I would keep getting recommended what looks like the same thing, but clearly in a different show. So of course the curiosity got the best of me, and I ended up binge watching this entire show. And let me tell you, it was worth it. And like I said earlier, because it's a slice of life anime, there's not really a plot to start with. So I'll just, start off with the normal basics of the show, but obviously we're gonna start off with the direction and basically the usual information, just as I usually start with. It was originally directed by Yasuhiro Yamamoto, who directed the first 4 episodes. But due to performance issues, he was replaced by Yasuhiro Takemoto, who directed every episode after that. He's also known for directing shows such as Suzumiya, Fullmetal Panic, Dragon Maid, you know the rest. I said the same thing in the Suzumiya review. It was made by Kyoto Animation. It aired in the spring of 2007 and consisted of 24 episodes. Lucky Star started off as a 4-panel comic manga that produced 10 volumes since 2003, was made into a drama CD in 2005, and then, before being made into an anime, was made into a game for the Nintendo DS later that year known as Lucky Star Moe Drill. After the anime, it completely blew up. There was 3 more games, 4 more manga, there were even 5 light novels based off of the show. And due to the ridiculous and immense popularity in Japan, there was even a live show that was held in 2009, and it even went so far as to have a musical that was aired in late September of 2012. So now let's talk about basically the main stuff about this show. So Lucky Star, it follows 4 main characters as they go through high school. The first character, known as Konata Izumi, who is the main character of this show. She is very lazy and would consider watching anime, reading manga, and playing video games rather than doing her schoolwork. There are the Hiragi sisters. The first one is Kagami, who is the typical tsundere character who questions everything Konata does, which I really don't blame her. Konata doesn't do shit. But, regardless, still hangs out with her anyways. They're still best friends and they still hang out. Really nothing that special there. There is Kagami's younger fraternal twin sister, Tsukasa Hiragi, who is the friendly character, the nice one. There's really all I remember from the show. It's been a while. Tsukasa's the nice one. And then there was the 4th character named Miyuki Takara, who is basically that one character in every anime who has glasses on and is the nice one. That's all I remember. Jesus, they're so, I don't want to say they're vague when it comes to their plot points. I don't think I just wrote that much. There are also other characters. There's at least, I think, 10 more characters in this show that we see in the opening, which we'll get to later, but we aren't introduced to them until about halfway through the series. What makes this show very well known to hardcore anime fans is its numerous references to popular anime and manga from past and present, such as Fullmetal Panic, In one instance, they reference Full Metal Alchemist, but they can't say the name because they have no rights to it. And the show, which is really where the bulk of the references are, and what got me into the show in this first place, is Haruhi Suzumiya. It's also been said that one of the major factors of this show is because of its similarities to Haruhi. As it's later discovered that basically the same crew working on Lucky Star literally worked on Haruhi Suzumiya the year before. Even the voice actors for both the sub and the dub from Suzumiya worked on Lucky Star in different roles, which goes to my assumption that in a way, Lucky Star is a spin-off, but it doesn't really spin off the show. It has like a crap ton of references, and it can be confused for a spin-off, but it's not a spin-off. It's a spin-off of sorts, but, you know, instead of being similar to the source material, which is Haruhi Suzumiya, it goes a comedic route, and it makes fun of the otaku fandom, which makes it, for some viewers, a safe guilty pleasure show. Now, this next thing I want to say is easily one of the funniest things I've ever seen, or at least at the time, one of the funniest things I've ever seen, and it is that near the end of every episode, there is an additional segment called Lucky Channel. And it is co-hosted by former child star Akira Kogami, who I'm pretty sure is bipolar, we're going to get to that later, and her assistant Minoru Shiraishi. As the series goes on, the humor in the show gets darker and more it doesn't get dark to the point where it's depressing or disturbing, but it gets darker, and it gets more mean-spirited, it gets more cynical, and has a more mature tone than the main show, as it's disguised as an infomercial that skims over the characters who appear in Lucky Star. But it mainly deals with the progressively abusive and violent work relationship between Akira and Minoru. Oh, wow. I'm looking back at it. That was funny. It was unpredictable. Akira is that typical cute, excitable girl while she's reading her script, but when her take is done, or even some cases before that, she turns completely, she turns annoyed, she is frustrated, which again gives me the assumption that this Akira Kogami girl is bipolar. One thing I thought was interesting too is that it also featured a small cameo of voice actors who have or had worked with Kyoto Animation, such as the voice actors from the show, which I think is pretty cool, and I think it's a really good way to promote the voice actors in the show itself. Now let's talk about the opening. The opening and the endings for this show is fairly interesting, and it's a lot to talk about. So, Lucky Star, no surprise, was the first show to get on the Hari Hari Yukai bandwagon, in which they made their own dance that caught on. It had a pretty decent following, and basically the main part of the of the opening, the song is fucking catchy, but is stuck in my head probably till the end of time. And the dance is mainly just towards the end, they dress up as cheerleaders, which I think is what got everyone's attention. The endings for the show were also pretty interesting as well. There were two endings. The first half of the series is the main characters in a karaoke room singing songs from past anime shows, and after some research, some weird Japanese live-action mecha shows from the 70s. Look, I'm not going to bother saying their names. They're just either the names are forgettable, but for all the wrong reasons, the show isn't. So I'm going to have to watch a lot of baseball to get that out of my head. The second half is a series of live-action clips showing what I assume is the crew of Kyoto Animation doing all kinds of stuff. There was one guy, one of the first ones was this guy who was standing on a rock bed just yelling shit out to the ocean. And then there was also a bunch of other stuff, like, it was weird. There was another one where it was like this competition where you're trying to sing all the Kyoto Animation songs in a time limit. And there was even one instance where there was this woman in a fucking wedding dress just walking through the woods. I don't know. It's anime. I really just stopped questioning this thing like weeks ago. But what makes this entertaining to me wasn't the stuff that they were doing, but while this stuff was going on, you could hear people in the background like laughing or just talking to the guy behind the camera, which gives me the assumption that that it's an inside joke, that this was something that the crew wanted to do, and regardless of how anyone thought about it, they were going to do it anyway. The popularity of Lucky Star also brought many of its fans to its real-life, the real life settings of the anime. This is nothing uncommon where there would be the settings of really popular shows will be based off actual places in Japan. But in this instance, it was fairly interesting. In August of 2007, the issue from the magazine New Type ran a feature on the various locales in which the anime was based on, including Konata's home, Tsukasa and Kagami's home, and the school that they went to. But the most infamous place that they released was the place that the Hiragi sisters worked at, which is known as the Washinomiya Shrine in Washimiya. And after the locales, after the places were released, and after the locations were revealed, numerous anime fans in flocks went to all these places, especially the shrine, as various Japanese media outlets reported that it became a place filled with photographers trying to reenact the scene, cosplayers just walking around, and there was a bunch of Ima prayer plaques, which for anyone who doesn't know is basically something usual in a shrine, where it is a wooden plaque, you write a prayer or you write your wish on it and you hang it up on a place right next to the shrine. And in this instance, there was a bunch of anime drawings on it, and it has even gone so far as one guy even wrote on a plaque, "Konata is my wife." And after a while, the locals that were near the shrine were divided on the situation. Some people saying that this was good for publicity, while some people saying this was bad because security couldn't handle it. And after Kyoto Animation found out, they took advantage of this opportunity and actually hosted an event in December of 2007, which had the original author of the 4-panel manga and the 4 main voice actors from the show. From what I read, it attracted approximately 3,500 people, which I can't really tell if that's a lot or not in this instance. And due to the popularity as well, this is something that isn't uncommon in recent Japanese culture either, and that is that there would be very popular characters who would be official residents of cities, and in this case the Hiragi sisters, not Konata, the Hiragi sisters, were named the official residents of Washimiya because of its popularity. And this show also helped Washimiya economically, as of July 30th, 2008, the sales of food and goods related to the show brought the town of Washimiya about 390,000 US dollars, which is 42 million yen, in income, which was described by the Wall Street Journal as a source of relief to the local economy, reeling from Japan's economic slump that they suffered back in the 1990s, which was another example of, I said the same thing with My Neighbor Totoro. You know what the hell, I'm going to put the link to My Neighbor Totoro down below, because this is basically related to this, is example of an anime show or a movie that positively impacted a community or an area of Japan in a way, Lucky Star, a slice of life show, because of how popular it was, it helped this area economically. Now that we're done with the impacts that this show had, which was a lot more than I thought, let's get to the actual review of the show. There is no story, like I said before, there is no story in this show, but that is one of the main reasons I like this show, is because there was no plot. There is no tension, no fighting, no drama, no heartbreaks, no conflict, no nothing. Just, in this case, just pure comedy. And speaking of the comedy, to me, the comedy was alright. There were countless moments where it made me smile. It was one of those shows, but many times I would even chuckle at the jokes that I happened to get. And like I said earlier, Lucky Channel is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It works in this anime by having the characters go through moments where you relate to them. They're relatable moments, which is, I think, the only way to me where the characters were relatable. It could be more relatable to someone else. And that's why I think it's really funny to me, because that's something that a slice of life, or every slice of life, should have. Also, in my opinion, it's a huge plus if you're into Japanese culture, because, again, many of the jokes are about the daily life there, and if you get some of the jokes, it'll actually be a way better experience. Basically, to sum this up, because Lucky Star is about the daily lives of these characters, there won't be any conflicts like any other slice of life anime, which makes this anime very peaceful, and like I said, you can relate to many of the characters. And because of this, I'm going to give Lucky Star an 8 out of 10. I suggest this to anyone who's either watched a lot of anime and or someone who has like a long day at work or a long day at school and just wants to watch something that they can just laugh at with no thought whatsoever. Thank you guys for watching my Lucky Star review. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more anime review videos, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you want to see more review videos, there's a couple links on the screen for more videos that you can watch. And once again, guys, my name is Payne, and I'll see you in the next video.